Good afternoon. Welcome to the 4-H and FFA Sheep and Goat Show. I think we're about ready to get started. The order of events for the afternoon is we're going to start with our sheep show and then do our goat show. Within that sheep show, we'll do showmanship first, followed by our market classes. So first up this afternoon is going to be our senior land showman, which looks like they're here and ready, but I also want to introduce our judge for the afternoon. Logan Despain comes from Laramie, Wyoming. So he's made a long drive up here, but we're really glad to have him. So welcome again, Logan. All right, so coming into the ring, our senior land showman, we have Kinsey Howie, Christina Purveo, Taylor Noyes, and Ottawa Billy. So we have one class of senior showmen And then we're going to move into our junior showmanship class.
Welcome back again as we get started here with the Sheep Show, a senior showmanship. With just 4 individuals here, we'll go ahead and instead of talking to each one individual, we'll kind of briefly go over them and discuss some things they're doing really well, maybe a couple of things that we can work on. So, young lady over here on the right, doing a good job with eye contact. Making sure that I know that you're looking at me. Just unfortunate our partner got away from us here earlier throughout the day, and she's kind of wanting to throw a fit on us. So all we can do is just making sure we're putting in more time at home. So when we bring her out here, she won't want to throw a fit on us and try and get away. Young lady after her doing a really nice job with eye contact as well. Talking to the young lady, she's very personable and easy to talk to. Answer her question really well. Eye contact is very good. The thing that I'll stress here is making sure that we're looking at our project as well and making sure that our animal is staying set up. A couple of times we'll be so focused in on me that a lamb will move a leg and we won't quite realize it. So making sure we're being attentive to making sure our animals are set up here. The 2 young ladies up here are going to be champion and reserve. We'll go ahead and place them here, but briefly discussing them first. The young lady on the right again. Very cool, calm, and collected type showman. Does a good job trying to get that ewe lamb stuck and holding still. A couple of things that we can maybe work on. And now, for instance, we're kind of cattywampus with our sheep and out of line here. So if we could just maybe be a little bit more attentive to where the lines are at, making sure we're staying in line with everyone. The young lady's doing a nice job. Young lady at the FFA jacket again does the best in terms of trying to get that sheep presented right. Setting feet with our hands, I think, is very, very important when it comes to senior showmanship, especially. She's doing good with that. And then as far as where she's positioning herself in front of that sheep, having more of her body in front and not just than one point of our leg to brace that sheep, she's doing a nice job. All that being said, though, really, really good set. Young lady in the FFA jacket will be our champion. Young lady behind her will be reserved. If you would go ahead and give all the seniors a big hand.
Receiving the grand champion is Taylor Noyes, followed by Aubrey Waldfield for reserve. Christina Pameo receives the blue, and Howie receives the red ribbon. Once these sheep clear the arena, we welcome our first class of junior lamb showmen. We'll have Riley Erickson, Devin Judd, Cassidy Flynn, and Ari Judd. Sponsors for our senior showman, grand champion will receive a jacket sponsored by Rocky Mountain Supply, and a vest will go to our reserve champion sponsored by the St. Vincent Townsend, a division of Opportunity.
As we get going here into the junior showmanship portion here, we're going to go ahead and ask the two young ladies still out here in the line to join us back for the final drive of showmanship. Both of them are doing a really nice job as far as trying to set our lamb up with our hands, making sure we're putting legs where they need to be, getting those sheep racing and looking the best we can at all times. They're doing a nice job. Young lady with the ewe lamb here, again, doing it good with eye contact and making sure every time I was looking at you, we were looking back at each other, which is good. Keep up with that. A couple things that we can maybe work on is every once in a while we'll have a leg out of place. So making sure we're paying attention to make sure our lamb is set up and she doesn't look like she wants to get out and walk super easy with us. And again, all we can do is just keep on practicing at home. So we bring her in here, she'll do it the way she wants us to do. And the young lady with the big weather here in the end again does a nice job here when the weather is kind of calming down for her, behaving for the young lady. It's just unfortunate that again our partner just kind of got away from us, and that's all right. Those things happen. So if you would please go ahead and give a big round of applause for all these juniors.
And our first class of junior lamb showmen receiving purple ribbons and coming back for the final drive, Devin Judd and Cassidy Glenn. Blue ribbons go to Riley Erickson and Ari Judd. As soon as these lambs are out, we're ready for our second class of junior showmen. In the ring, I need Kayla McDonald, Colby Flynn, Vincent Judd, Courtney Merritt, and Caitlin Noy.
really good class. Junior sheep showing in here again. The two young ladies against the line here are going to go ahead and join us back. Like I said, just doing the little things of making sure that our lamb is set up and their legs are where they need to be. Making sure that you're getting our sheep pushing and bracing into them when I come in to handle it, just as well as making sure that they are looking natural in a position to put themselves in a position for success in front of their sheep there, doing a really nice job. Young man over here, one that's good with eye contact. His weather's kind of wanting to fidget around and move on us every once in a while. Ultimately, that's what kind of kept us from getting kept back. The leg will be out of place, so making sure we're paying attention to being attentive to make sure that once the leg gets moved, we need to put it right back. Again, trying to make that sheep cooperate with us and get him to stand as still as we can. Young lady after him does a really good job with eye contact, so keep up with that. Biggest thing is making sure we're looking at the feet down at the ground. Again, there's a couple legs out of place here and there. We'll catch you there, so making sure we're being attentive to that. The young man over here in the end, again, doing a really good job. Eye contact is awesome. Intense type of a showman. Biggest thing is, again, I know he's a lot bigger than we are, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but making sure we're trying to keep him set up and pushing into him the best we can. Really, really good set of showing, though. If you would, go ahead and get these kids a big hand.
In our second class of junior showmen receiving blue ribbons, Colby Flynn, Vincent Judd, and Courtney Merritt. Receiving purple ribbons and coming back for the final drive, Kayla McDonald and Caitlin Noyes. All right, I now need all of the purple ribbon showmen, junior showmen back in the ring. So we need Devin Judd, Cassidy Flynn, Caitlin McDonald, and Caitlin Noyes. Immediately following this class, we'll have our super starter showmanship.
bring the top end down for both of those junior classes. All four of these young ladies are doing a really, really good job. And again, we'll just go ahead and briefly touch on some things of what they're doing right, maybe a couple things that we can work on for future efforts. So here in no particular order, working left to right, the young lady on the far left doing a really good job as far as answering our questions. I asked these individuals just to tell me what they're feeding their animal at home. I think it's important that we're knowledgeable not only about our project, things we like and want to change about it, but what we're feeding them. She did a really good job with answering her questions. As far as where she's positioning herself in front of her sheep is definitely more my style is showmanship. I think it's a lot more comfortable for the sheep as well as for the showman to get the sheep pushing and bracing. Biggest thing that we can maybe work, and again, your eye contact's awesome. Make sure we're looking at our sheep too. For now, for instance, we got front leg out of place, and so if we're looking, making sure we're paying attention to make sure our legs are set up while still maintaining eye contact, but the young lady's doing a nice job. Young lady after her, again, very good in terms of eye contact and being an intense type showman. Her lamb is presented right for the show ring. Just a big think that we can maybe work on for future references when we're trying to set the sheep up. We're kind of just bumping into him until he'll move the leg where we need it to, which is all right. I think the better way to go about it is if we get him accustomed to you being okay of having his leg touched, we can step off to the side, set the leg down where we need to instead of having to bump into him every time. But the young lady's doing a nice job. Young lady after that, really good in terms of, again, eye contact is awesome, same as it was in class, setting leg with our hands like we need to be. She's doing good with that. Biggest thing I think we can work on is when we're bracing our sheep and getting them, set up and stand in front of them. Don't be afraid to slide our body out in front of that sheep just a little bit more, and that way we're not just having to use one point on our leg to push into that sheep. And the young lady here at the opposite end, again, awesome job answering her questions. Getting that sheep set up for the most part. Biggest thing that I think we could just do is just making sure our legs are set up at all times. Maybe once in a while we'll catch you with the foot out of place. Really, really good set of showmen. If you would, put your hands together. We'll go ahead and pick your champion reserve.
Your grand champion junior showman is Cassidy Flynn, and your reserve champion is Kayla McDonald. Good job, girls. Our grand champion junior showman is going to get an embroidered jacket sponsored by 3 Forks Lumber and Ready Mix. Reserve champion will get an embroidered vest sponsored by Main Street office of 3 Forks. Up next, we are ready for our super starter lamb showman, Cameron Green. You're welcome to come in the ring. Following this class, our super starter, we're going to move right into a market land class. So if you're in the first class, please be ready.
young man is doing a really, really good job. Just a single entry in here, and I commend you as an exhibitor for bringing your new lamb out here and getting her shown. Doing a really good job of little things we'd like to see at these younger individuals of making sure we're switching sides based off of where I am, being very personal, and he's even setting those feet with our hands, being with a big sheep here too. So he's doing a really, really good job. If you would, please put your hands together for this young man.
Our grand champion super starter showman is Cannon Green. Great job, Cannon. He receives a trophy sponsored by Rocky Mountain Supply. Okay, we're ready for our first class market lambs. In the ring, I need Aubrey Waldbillig with 2 lambs, Christina Paveo, Colby Flynn, Vincent Judd, and Courtney Merritt. The weight break on this class is 100 to 118 pounds.
Really good first class as we get started here with the Market Lamb Show. Young man Zealand is going to go ahead and win this class. I think does so in particular on the handle. That's a very good rack, hydrated sheep that handles extremely fresh. It's hair up high. That sheep's good in terms of the edges to its loin. Like that sheep, when it's stuck from the side in terms of that one's spine and top line, very level there. We're going to maybe change the sheep every so slightly, kind of getting a little bit frailer there in terms of our bone work at the surface, but a nice one to go ahead and win. Young ladies, Weather's going to go ahead and come in second. When that one gets set up and pushed and driving, it gives you a really neat silhouette from the side in terms of just having, a good featured show sheep look from the side. One that handles plenty square up high. Biggest issue where we can adjust this one is he kind of wants to round out to the edges of his loin there. And then we get the sheep out in motion. He just needs to lead a little better in this set to his hip and hind leg there. We like the image that that one portrays from the side when we get that one driving. Young ladies, Ewe-Lamb that'll be third over on the right here. Again, one that's very intriguing to the handle in terms of that one's rack shape. For a lightweight, very trim sheep, that one's loin edge is very wide and very square. But when we get the sheep out in motion is where that one needs fixed. She's too straight in the angle to her shoulder, and that only kinds to really show that she's just too tubular in her body type. If we can make that one deeper in her flank as well to help that one balance a notch better, but a good Ewe-Lamb there. Young man's Weather that's going to go ahead and come in next. One that I think has plenty of muscle. He's definitely not lacking in terms of power. We just need to make that one later maturing, as well as make that one neater up front in terms of how his shoulders set into him, make him shallower chested and help that one balance a little better from the side. Young man's Weather after that, one that's very big scaled, high performing type sheep. It's got lots of value. In order to get past some of the ones here to Glenn class, we need to make that one wider, and in particular in his upper hip and pin set, make that one rounder bodied as well. Similar story for the young ladies Ewe-Lamb that'll round out the set. Big scale, plenty of extension up front with that sheep, to peek it over our top and to light muscle, if you will. So a really competitive class, if you will, give these kids in here a big hand.
Receiving purple ribbons in our first class of Market Lamb, Christina Pavale and Colby Flint. Blue ribbons went to Audrey Wallvillage with 2 lambs. And red ribbons went to Benson Judd and Courtney Mack. Great job. We are on to class number 2. Lambs enter the ring. We need Cannon Green, Colby Flint, Devin Judd, Ari Judd, Caitlin Noyes, Riley Erickson, and Cassidy Flint. weight break on this class is 122 to 135.
Again, really, really good class here with the second one. Nice trio we have up here towards the top end. Young lady's weather that's going to go ahead and win. I think does so in particular on the handle. That sheep is the best in terms of the shape to a track of being upstanding, fresh and square. Good in terms of that one's top line and giving you the right kind of look when we get that sheep stretched out enough to make him really look the part from the side. We're going to pick a couple holes in this one if we can maybe make that one a little bit bigger footed at the surface, as well as give that one a little bit more bend and flexibility to its rear tube, but a nice one to go ahead and win the class. Young ladies, what it's going to be second, might be my favorite in terms of an image and look from the side in regards to where that one's chest sits relative to its flank, and making that one balance really good from this side. Added bonus, and that one's really got the nice speed to the target there, breathe into a sheep, but making that one really look the part. We got to make that guy more muscular. When we put our hands on him, it's just to peek it over his top, over his rack. So if we can make him a little bit more aggressive in terms of some shape and muscle there, maybe you could switch the two there. Young man's fight that's going to go ahead and come in third. Again, corrects those things about our second place sheep in terms of being bigger up on the top portion of his skeleton and having more shape there behind his shoulder and in his rack. So I think where we need to change this sheep, though, is right here from the side. We're just getting a little bit too common up front in terms of how long our shoulder blade is and how deep we are in our chest there. We can make that one neater and shallower up front. Again, you could change those three up either which way. Young lady sheep that'll go ahead and come in next. Very good body type sheep in terms of roundness of body and how bold she is there behind her shoulder and her forehead. Plenty wide and dimensional up high. Just wish we could freshen her up and peel her back ever so slightly in terms of some freshness of shape. Make that one grab a little bit square and more hydrated over her young man's ULAM that'll go ahead and come next. One that the young man's done a good job getting this one presented for the show ring. And that relates to that one. Handling fairly good in terms of freshness and squareness up high. Just wish we could make that one bigger, bolder in his rib cage. Just a little too flat there behind her forehead, but one that handles awfully nice. Young ladies, weather after that, again, surprised me to the touch, one that handles for good. Just wish we could match all that from there on back. That she kind of wants to narrow up to his pin set. He's too flat at the base of his stifle and is shallow and high in his twist there. But one that handles not good there. And the young lady's ULAM here is going to round out the set. One that's good in terms of that one's body shape. We're getting too deep in our chest. There, we can make that one bounce better and notch better from this time. But a really good class if you give all those kids a big hand.
Receiving purple ribbons in the second class of market land, we have Colby Flynn, Caitlin Noyes, and Cassidy Flynn. Blue ribbons go to Cannon Green and Briley Erickson. Red ribbons to Devin Judd and Ari Judd. All right, as soon as these lambs are out, we're ready for class number 3. This is the final class of market lambs. In the ring, I need Cassidy Flynn, Kayla McDonald, Kinsey Howie, Taylor Noyes, Riley Erickson, and Kayla McDonald. The weight break on this class is 140 to 157. Immediately after the conclusion of our market lamb class, we'll move straight into the goat show. So if you have goats, please start getting ready.
Really, really good. The differences and similarities here. Young ladies weather on the far right. Win just puts those good together and is a complete, in my opinion. Fundamentally correct in terms of that sheep handling right up high, in terms of that rack shape square to hydrate the edges of its loin. Really like that sheep's upper hip and pin set there. And then I think when the sheep works with the young lady and gets keep the neck into that sheep, I think gives you the right competitive show sheep look there from the side. Nice one to go ahead and win. Young lady's one that's going to go ahead and come in second. One that's going to go ahead and come in second. Again, one that is presented right for the show ring and looks the part here from the side when now she gets into the young lady and driven. Biggest issue with this one are put your hands on him. He's just too peeking over his top. We need to make him more aggressive, upstanding in terms of shape over his rack. And then from the side, we're just getting a little too off in our neck attachment. We could make his neck higher at the top of his shoulder there, but a nice weather there. Young ladies, what's going to go ahead and come in third is an absolute powerhouse. Muscle is not a problem for this sheep. He's big back, big ended, very good at his upper hip and pin set and powerful from behind. It's just here where we get these sheep on the side. We're kind of falling short of some extra bells and whistles in terms of making that one shallow and neat up front, making that one balanced just perfectly there from the side. But a very muscular type sheep to be sitting in third. Ewan is going to go ahead and come in next. One that I like a lot in terms of that one's body shape. She's good in terms of square shape she has up high. Just wish we could make all of these pieces of her to fit in together better. We're off there in our neck attachment. We're kind of getting too high there in the slope to our hip. If we could just blend all those pieces together a little more complete there, help that one look the part there from the side. Young ladies, Ulan, they'll go ahead and follow that one. Again, love that one in terms of the roundness of body of that sheep has. She's very bold and good there behind her shoulder and her forehead. That all allows and contributes for that one to be so wide and dimensional up high. Just structurally and balanced, we need to make her notch better there. She's just too upright in the angle to her shoulder, stiff in the set to her hip and hind leg. We could just allow her to have a more elegant and attractive show sheep look there. You could swap off a couple spots. And then the sheep that'll round out the set, one that I think is plenty muscular, practical type sheep that's going to do what we need it to do. Again, we just wish we could make that one longer fronted, shallower chest, and a neater looking. Really good class. We would give all these kids in here a big hand.
In our second or third class of market lambs receiving purple ribbon, Cassidy Quinn, Taylor Noyes, and Briley Erickson. Blue ribbons go to Kayla McDonald with 2 lambs and Kinsey Howie. All right, we're ready for our final drive of market lambs. In the ring, I'm going to need Taylor Noyes, Colby Quinn, and Cassidy Quinn. Immediately following this final drive, we're going to move directly into our first goat class, which will be senior showmanship.
To bring all of our class winners out here, really a good set of sheep trio we have in here, and I think all of them put a lot of good together and are a complete sheep that are fundamentally correct while still coming with the right kind of show ring presence of ones that handle extremely good. To me, I just think there's one that just gives you a little bit better image from this side, stouter featured, just gives you the right kind of show lamb look from this side. If you want lower time, go ahead and give all these kids a big round of applause and go pick your champion reserve.
Defeating grand champion is Taylor Lloyd. The Cassidy Flames Land. The reserve champion is Cassidy Flames.
In addition to the rosettes, our grand champion market lamb also will receive a belt buckle donated by Headwaters Livestock. Reserve champion receives an embroidered jacket donated by Big Skyfoot Painful Institute. They also received banners that were donated by Broughton Showcase. Okay, we are ready for our senior goat showman. In the ring, we need Colton Noyes, David Cooper, Christina Paveo, Bailey Taves, Jaden Adams, and Courtney Paveo.
Really good set of goat show when we get in here as we get started with the goat show. Spoke to the three individuals we pulled out. Things are doing really well. A couple of things we could maybe work on. Real briefly, we'll go over these three individuals here. Things are doing right. Maybe a few things that we can work on for future reference here. So working left to right, young lady here with the paint dough does a good job of making sure she's paying attention to that dough and making sure she's set up at all times. So still making sure she's keeping eye contact and staying intense. biggest thing, maybe every once in a while we'll get that doe too stretched out. So I think if we could just maybe keep her up and keep her underneath of herself ever so slightly, then it'll make her a lot more comfortable and look natural there as well. But the young lady's doing a nice job. Young lady after her, again, very good in terms of making sure that goes racing at all times. Did a good job with answering her question. I asked them, tell me what your feed program is at home. Biggest thing, we need to make sure we're paying attention to the feet. Every once in a while, we're looking at me. Your eye contact's very good. Making sure we're glancing down at our animal to make sure they're set up as well. And I don't catch you with the foot out of place, but the young lady's doing a nice job. Young man on the end, very, very good. You can tell he's put a lot of time in with his doe. When that one gets set up and puts legs where they want to, she doesn't hardly move. The biggest thing is we just got to make sure we put them where we want them. She's got a front leg out of place right now for us. So making sure we get them set up, and she'll stay there for the young man. Doing a really, really good job. If you would, please give a round of applause for all these kids. We'll go ahead and pick this champion reserve.
So in our senior showmanship class, our grand champion senior showman is Colton Noyes. Reserve champion is Haven Cooper. Purple ribbon also went to Bailey Kay. Blue ribbon went to Jaden Adams, Christina Paveo, and Courtney Paveo. Our senior champion is going to receive a embroidered jacket sponsored by McDaniel Ranch. Reserve champion will receive an embroidered vest sponsored by State Bank of Townsend, a division of Opportunity Bank. We're going to move right into our junior goat showmanship class. In the ring, I need Spencer Broughton, Kaylee Connor, Grace Krager, and Scarlett McDaniel.
As we bring junior showman in here doing a really like I said, really, really good job. Spoke to the two individuals over here. A couple of things they're doing really good, and a couple of things we can work on for next year. Two individuals up here we'll go ahead and discuss on the mic. So the young lady on the right does a nice job of making sure that her weather is set up at all times. Making sure that that one's pushing into her when we come in to handle. When I'm looking at them from the side, biggest thing, and we fixed it now, but earlier when we came in, we were bracing with the wrong leg. So I think we make sure we be attentive there, but she caught it. We're using the right one here, so she's doing a nice job there. Young man with the weather here on the left, again, does a nice job of trying to get that weather set up the best we can, keeping him pushing and driving at all times to make his project look the best he can. Got it presented right for the show ring. Biggest thing, don't be afraid. We're racing into these goats to slide a little bit more in front. I think with sheep and goats similar, both alike of being in front of the animals, I think would be the easiest to help keep the animal comfortable, and I think it's easiest for us as well. That way we can also stand up a little bit more upright when it comes to showing goats to look a little bit more natural. But if you would, please put your hands together for all these juniors in here. That being said, really, really good set. Young man's going to go ahead and be our champion. Young lady will be reserved.
All right, in our class of junior showmen, our grand champion junior showman is Spencer Broughton. Reserve champion is Scarlett McDaniel. Receiving purple ribbons, Grace Krager and Kaylee Connor. Our grand champion junior showman is going to receive a jacket sponsored by Duke Clinker and Noise. Reserve champion will receive a vest sponsored by Freeport Lumber and Ready Mix. All right, we're ready for our super starters in goat showmanship. I need Andrew Beatty, Arabella McDaniel, and Autumn Hanky.
first set here as we get into the superstar showmanship here. Again, all of them are doing a really, really good job. We want another experience here in the shoring to be a good one. So if you would, please put your hands together for all these kids in here. My biggest piece of advice is for young kids here and moving on forward, making sure we're doing the little things of making sure we're keeping eye contact, watching me the whole time, but making sure our animals set up the way they need to be and having fun. That all being said, the young man in the middle is going to go ahead and be our champion. One last time, let's give all these kids a big hand.
In our class of Super Starter Showmen, our Grand Champion Super Starter is Andrew B. Reserve Champion is Autumn Haney, and our purple ribbon goes to Arabella McDaniel. Andrew receives a trophy sponsored by State Bank of Townsend Division of Opportunity Bank. Okay, next we're going to do our Dairy Goat show. So I'm going to lead Autumn Hanky in with 2 goats, 2 senior or junior goats, Crazy Kroger with 3 dairy goats, 2 junior goats, and 1 senior goat. After our dairy goat class, we will go right into our goat market class.
Well, as we get our one dairy goat class in here, really, really good for all these exhibitors bringing nice projects. I'm not going to tell you I am the dairy goat extraordinaire, but this isn't the first one that I've done, and I think of all of them that I've done, I think the young lady's goat on the right, she's going to go ahead and be our champion dairy goat. One of the better ones that I think I've seen personally. Studying that one in terms of her joints, of being fine and flat there in her joints. The actual shape to her rib is good while being still plenty good. And the outward turn of it there at the center, the shape to her udders right. And then you study that one's skull and where the eyes, the ears, and nostrils are sitting. A really nice one to go ahead and win. Now the little one that's going to go ahead and come in second, again, follow similar things that we'd like to see in terms of the shape of that one's head, the set to its ears, the eyes and nostrils there as well. If we're going to change this one ever so slightly, if we can make that one a little bit flatter and more refined in her bone work, but one that I think is awfully nice to be sitting in second. Young ladies don't, it'll go ahead and be third. Like this one a lot, and from a femininity and extension standpoint of being very refined up front. I just wish we could kind of carry those trends further down to the surface, make that one flatter and neater about her lower joints as well. And a similar story here with the remaining two black does, one that have plenty of extension I think will make for good projects down the road. Just a couple of things of making those joints a little flatter, adjust the shape to their head and their hip as well. Really good set. Go ahead and give all these kids a big hand.
Hey, this is the class of dairy goat. Actually, two classes are in here. So our grand champion dairy goat goes to Grace Kroger with her senior doe. Grace is one of Grace's junior does, is the reserve champion as well, and then a purple ribbon junior doe for Grace. Autumn Hankey has two junior does in there, both receiving purple ribbon. Great job, girls. Okay, we're going to move right along into our first class of market goat. So in the ring, I need Courtney Paveo, Haven Cooper, Christina Paveo, Jaden Adams with two goats. The weight break on this class is 60 pounds to 77 pounds. I also want to thank our sponsors for our Dairy Goat classes. The Grand Champion Dairy Goat is going to receive a jacket, sponsored by Paul Prager Construction. Reserve Champion will receive a vest, sponsored by the Big Sky Foot and Ankle Clinic.
So we get started here with the goat show. Really good way to get started off here. Young ladies paint weather. It's going to go ahead and win the class. I think it's just the EST in this one in terms of being the most muscular. You put your hands on these things, and that one's the most impressive up high in terms of the shape it has over its rack. From behind, that one's plenty powerful, and the turn it takes into a stifle. If we're going to change this one, we need to make that one better built. Goats are awkward animals, and their spines are different in the first place. So we feel this one kind of wants to pull up and get uncomfortable there, and his loin ever so slightly. But the young lady's doing a nice one and brings a nice one to go ahead and win. Whether it's going to go ahead and come in second, like this one a notch more from an extension standpoint up front. That one's definitely longer necked and neater about where his chest sits into him relative to the rest of that one's body. I just think if we can match the same shape up high and power from behind is the one that wins, you could switch the pair and wouldn't argue with you much. Our paint dough that's going to go ahead and come in third. Very good in terms of handling up high in the upper portion of that one's skeleton. Very good built type dough to get out here and moves extremely well. Like the shape up front in terms of extension she has. We could just make her wider constructed around her body, more muscular to compete with the other two, but a nice dough sitting in third. Young ladies, Weather's going to go ahead and come in next. Again, one that I think is fundamentally correct in terms of being decently wide, big chested and wide constructed. Just wish we could take advantage of that and match that up high with some more muscularity and power to lay down that one spine there, but a nice one there. And then the Weather's going to go ahead and round out the set like this one from a lateness and maturity standpoint. Very long fronted, extended type Weather, but handling this one, we just need to make him bigger shaped and more powerful there. He's just too peaked over his top, but a really good class. He would give all these kids a big hand.
Receiving the purple ribbon and joining us again is Christina Paveo. Also a purple ribbon to Jaden Evans. Blue ribbons go to Courtney Paveo and Hayden Cooper, and a red ribbon to Jaden Adams. Please welcome our second class of market goats. We'll have Grace Krager, Bailey Taves with 2, Spencer Broughton, Scarlett McDaniel, and Colton Williams.
really good class. Again, lots of differences to be discussed, not only in terms of muscle, but in terms of design, skeleton, and look. Young man's weather in the middle is going to go ahead and win. Wins, I think, when we get this one set up and pushing and driving, gives you the better competitive look from this side in regards to where that one's chest is sitting up front. That one's got lots of extension there. Handling, I think that one's plenty fresh and good in terms of its handling quality. Get behind this guys where we maybe wish we could see a little bit more of him. He's a little flat there to a base of his stifle and shallow in his twist there. But to me, I think he wins when we get these things propped up and going from the side. Just gives you the more competitive look there. Young man Flash Weather's going to go ahead and be second. Definitely has the advantage from behind in terms of being bigger ended and more powerful there, and giving you the bigger shape and twist there down to the base of his lower stifle. One that handles plenty good just off from the side here. Wish we could make that one neater up front and allow that one to balance better from this side. And again, he wants to pull up and get uncomfortable there in his loin ever so slightly, but that's an awfully nice close pair there. Weather on the right is going to go ahead and be third. A solid one that doesn't do a whole lot of things wrong. Just wish we could have a couple more extra bells and whistles in terms of some feature at the surface. Make that one wider constructed and more muscular, but a nice one to be sitting in third. Similar story for our doe that'll be next. One that you like, that one's outward turn to her body shape. She's good and outward there behind her shoulder and her forehead. Just wish we could make that one shallower chested and neater looking from the side. Help that one truly balance right there. Black one that'll be next. Again, muscle is there, not a problem with this particular weather. Just wish we could make that one better balance from the side, shallower chested, more appropriate how he uses his hip and hind leg. And then our red paint one that'll red out the set. Again, one that I think is good in terms of basic shape to its rib cage and having some muscle. Just wish we could make these things better balanced and more attractive from this side. But a really, really good class. If you would put your hands together for those kids.
Receiving purple ribbons in this class is Spencer Broughton, Colton Noyes, and Bailey Taves. Receiving blue is Grace Prater, Bailey Taves, and Scarlett McDaniel. Please welcome our third class of market goats with Colton Noyes, Spencer Broughton, Arabella McDaniel, Andrew Beatty, Katie Connor, and Andrew Beatty.
really good class as far as just consistency in terms of muscle and product that these all goats have is very good. That being said, though, I think the young man's weather goat says the wind does so fairly handily here. That one's really nice. Studying that one from fundamental standpoint, that one's extremely good. The shape that one has up high in terms of that one's rack, very wide loin, the big ended from behind. Love the feature of this one from the stoutness of skull to having some big legs at the surface. And like I said, goats are interesting animals, and their top lines aren't always level like that. And so I think it's unique that goat is that level down his top and out of his hip there. If we're going to change this one, catch him going away. He pressures the outside of his foot there and bows his hock ever so slightly, but a nice one to go ahead and win. Donut's going to go ahead and come in second. Really good handling goat. One that's got plenty of shape up high and very wide and dimensional on the upper portion of that one's skeleton. Round-bodied and powerful. Just wish we could make that one a little later maturing. We're getting a little too close to the ground there with this one. If we can make that one neater and shallower up front as well, but a nice doe to be sitting in second. Young man's weather that's in third, again, just like I was saying, one that has plenty of muscle and product-driven type goat. I think we're maybe getting a little down the line here, right in the line in terms of being a little too chubby here. If we could peel that one back and make him a little fresher, but one that I think's got plenty of muscle there. Similar story for the young lady's weather here again. Like this one a notch more in terms of some extension up front and how that one's shoulder and chest is set into him. Again, if we could freshen that one up and through some shape up high, make that one bigger in his upper hip as well. Paint weather that'll go ahead and come in next. One you like to tie into from the side in terms of that one's straight to top line and an extension up front. We can make that one shallower chested, fresher handling as well. And similar story for the wide weather, though. I round out the set one that's plenty muscular and powerful, product-driven type goat. Just wish we could make that one fresher and more expressive up high. Good class if you give all those kids a big hand.
All right, in our third class of market goats receiving purple ribbons, Colton Noyce and Spencer Broughton. Blue ribbons go to Arabella McDaniel and Andrew Beatty. Red ribbons go to Kaylee Connor and Andrew Beatty, second goat. Okay, I need now the top 15 goat in every market class. So, Spencer, I believe you have 2 goats. Spencer Broughton with 2 goats and Christina Corveo. If you place second in your class, please be ready.
Good set of class winners. We bring our final drive out here. Winners of 1, 2, and 3 again. ones that I think are very uniform and complete in terms of muscularity and power, still giving you the right kind of look from the side. That being said, I still think there's one in here that just does a whole lot of the extras and takes it the next step in terms of being presented right, giving you an incredible look from the side, and it's plenty muscular. One last time, if you go ahead and put your hands together for all these goat kids, we'll pick you a champion over in that second place here.
Grand champion market goat is Spencer Broughton. Having Colton Noyes come in, we'll now look for our reserve champion. Reserve champion market goat goes to Colton Noyes. Great job. Our grand champion market goat will also receive a belt buckle sponsored by Headwaters Livestock. Our reserve champion receives a jacket sponsored by Sayers Symphony. They both also receive banners that are donated by Broughton Showcase. And with that, that concludes our sheep and goat show for the day. Thank you for coming out. I want to thank our judge again, Logan Despain, coming up from Laramie, Wyoming. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for our beef show, so please join us for that, either live or online. And then we'll have our livestock sale in the afternoon with announcements starting at 2 and the sale starting at 2:30.